On this video, Trail Seeker Adventures heads to the SXCS Round 5 at Colonial Beach in Virginia. You never know what you'll see at the SXCS. After a good day of trail riding on Saturday, we had the pumpkin race. And then after that is trick-or-treating, not only for the kids, but for the adults. And that was all on just Saturday. Now it's Sunday. And guess what? We've got a mudder. Come along and see how hot it gets. Trail Seeker Adventures brings you along to the SXCS racing weekend, and it truly is a full weekend of events. They had a day of trail riding on Saturday, and then they went straight into the pumpkin race. There were several different classes that you could sign up for. This is the family duo. You had two riders, one drove, the other one ran and got his pumpkin, came back, they did a lap, and then you had to switch positions while the other person held the pumpkin and do a second lap, and whoever could do this the quickest was the champ.
Switch. Transfer the pumpkins. We'll see who can do it the quickest. They're going to maintain their lead. Riley's still out in front.
One thing the SXCS is trying to do is have a full family event. And one thing you'll see is everybody was having a great time at the pumpkin race. Whether you were riding the bike or watching them make their laps. And now it's time for the main event, the adult race. And the defending champs here in the pink and black, the little lady running back to the bike, that's Sam, getting ready to jump on Billy's bike and comes up a little short. I laugh at that every time. Runner-up last year was Devin and AW on the Flaming Dragon. Now they're taking the lead. And here comes Sam and Billy trying to run them down. AW held on for the lead on the first lap, and now it's time for a pumpkin change. Well, let's say a driver change. Unfortunately for AW, Devin couldn't control the Flaming Dragon. They went down. And here Billy barely missed getting the lead. Unfortunately for him and Sam, they ended up second for the day. Let's talk to AW and see what went wrong. So what do you think? Taking out the champ.
It was a good time. Good time. I just lost her over there in that corner. Lost it over there in that corner. I told my partner we had a big lead, just take a break. I mean, just bring her on home. But he was too clutching the old Fire Dragon here. You know what I'm saying?
Right, Fire Dragon.
Yeah, this old girl.
Maybe you should have gave him a practice lap on the Fire Dragon.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Oh well.
Well, it's good fun, had by all.
Yeah.
Good job. After the pumpkin race, they had trick-or-treating for the kids and some adults, and I was one of them. Although I didn't dress up. But then it's Sunday, race day, and let me tell you, it rained. And this is my son Damien. He comes to the races and takes some awesome photos so you all can have memories of the great time you had at the race.
There's $1,000 right here.
This is 200, 300.
Whoa. I got that and SD cards in my backpack probably.
Oh yeah, I do too. It's time for the youth to go out and hit the mud.
Now you're just getting particular.
I want my backpack covered. I got a $400 ones in there.
He came in a little hot, but just pay attention to the number. We'll be seeing him again later on. Here comes the overall leader. Unfortunately, he misses a turn. He's getting back on the way, and he doesn't even lose a position.
If you want tied up, I'll get him redirected.
And there's the 16. He was the one that went down in the first turn. And believe it or not, he won the overall. He put his head down and charged to the front and became the overall leader. Here's the 3, first, second, and third for the day. And now it's time for my race.
Alright, let's do this thing. Unfortunately,
check out my grips.
450 today. It's going to be a beta day.
I wrapped rags around my hands on a mutter. That way you get traction. There's nothing worse
The old mutter.
than not having traction on your throttle. It makes you grip harder and gives you arm pump. Just a little pro tip, not that I'm a pro, but on muddy races, wrap a little rag around your throttle or your grips, and then I take and rip off a little chunk of tape on each end. There's old Dave Redmond. He's my nemesis from The Hangover. He's the one that beat me on the overall morning race by just a matter of a few seconds. We had a good battle. I'm racing the afternoon race. Unfortunately, I was out helping pull bikes out of the mud holes for the morning race and didn't get none of it. Let's hit the trail and see what we have to deal with today. For some odd reason, I took off good, but I could not get this thing to shift to second or third gear. I kept on trying, but for as bad as the mud was first gear, I'm okay with second. I forced my way around this guy because you do not want to follow anybody on a track on a day like today. It's going to be challenging to try to get you as much video as I can. Unfortunately, this guy, he didn't even make it to the woods. He's buried up to his axles. And that's the whole plan of the day, is to try to make it to the finish without overheating your bike or getting stuck in the hole. Now, the way I got this video laid out, I'm going to try to get you as much of the first lap so you can see what the first, like the entire lap looks like and what we had to go through. And then after that, the rest of the laps, I'm just going to do the highlights. But the first lap here, this is the motocross track. It wasn't too bad, but there was definitely a couple holes that you wanted to avoid. And the crazy thing about it, they would fill up with water, and just like in this turn right here, you didn't know whether that little rut was 2 inches deep or 2 feet deep. But that was going to be the challenge of the day. Not really sure to how I can explain how not to get stuck on one of these holes. Typically, if you stay real tight to the inside or go far on the outside, that's my game plan. This soil is awesome. Just yesterday we did a trail ride as we were talking about, and it had a few spots that we had to get taken care of, but for the most part the track was awesome. It's a sandy soil, traction out the wazoo, whatever a wazoo is, and no problems at all. But then it started raining this morning right before the kids race, and it never stopped until right before the afternoon race took off. Now we're heading in the woods. The main goal is to not hit the wrong rut. And unfortunately, I come around the turn, I see a rut. I didn't want the rut, but I couldn't get out of the rut. And this is exactly what I did not want to happen. I look up with my sad little eyes, and they seen desperation in my face, and they came over. I wasn't real sure what they were saying, but they was definitely getting me out, and there I just lost the position. But that's not too bad for getting in a hole. And one other little tip: you fall in a hole like that, you do not want to just sit there and hold it wide open, because what that does is just sinks you down in there, and it'll suck your bike to where you just like a suction, and you will not get that bike out by yourself. Yesterday, the day before this, we were out helping people get out of holes. It took 4 grown men to get one bike out of one of these holes. So you get stuck in like this hole right here to the left, stop and lift your bike out. Don't just sit there and spin. This is going to be one of the slowest races I think I've ever been in. No, there's been other slow races. I took a bad line there, and this guy got around me. Now I'm in third, so I went from first to third. But I don't want to go fast to where I'm going to make a bad mistake, because I tend to do that and get stuck in a hole. You could be sitting there for a half an hour to an hour until somebody comes around and helps you, because you know, whenever track is this bad, the course marshals are stuck all throughout the trail or the track helping other people, so you may be a while before someone can come around and help you. So the worst thing you can do is make a bad decision and get yourself stuck. Class that I'm running today is the 40A. Usually on the local races I run 48. I am 50, and then at the nationals I'll run the 50A at the nationals. As I was saying, this is going to be a race of survival. Unfortunately, I did get something on my camera there for a while, and now I popped the tear off, and I don't know, that's probably about a half a mile that we lost right there. But so the idea is to make it to the finish line, obviously, and not getting stuck. And one other thing that I never even thought about on this beta is the radiators. I put on heavy duty radiator guards, which took off the plastic fin type of radiator guards, And I talked to Christian, a good friend of mine, which just recently had an accident. I hope you're doing well, Christian. But he said he didn't have no issues with them because you was actually able to get up there and just take your hand and wipe the mud off. But that's probably true on a good heavy duty gloppy mud. I make a bad decision here, but this is sandy, and the sand packed this radiator so tight. I don't think I got a lap and a half before I started idling fast, and when a two-stroke idles fast, that means she's getting warm. So I got about 2 or 3 decent laps in, and then I had to slow it down and try to not only get myself back to the finish, but now you got to think about getting your bike back to the finish. You could go ripping out through here and get your bike hot, and most likely you're not going to make it back to the finish. As I was saying, this is the afternoon race. The morning race basically consists of all the C class, which is awesome. If you're a beginner, you don't have to worry about the pro and the A riders coming and lapping you on your first lap. But the afternoon race is usually the pro, A, and B classes. And the morning race is an hour and a half, and the afternoon race is 2 hours. Now, the morning race on this day, they had it the worst because it started raining and it poured it down their entire race. Now, this is the hill climb. I thought this was going to get a lot worse than it did. It actually held itself up pretty well. I don't know how I found that little shortcut, but actually it was the long way around that I cut off and made it not as long. But but it quit raining right before the afternoon race. So now it's not raining, but the damage is done. The sand is awesome when it's dry, but whenever it is wet, it starts giving away, and you get these deep holes that you cannot tell how deep they are until unfortunately you're in. Got out of the rut there a little bit. I am not much for ruts. Ruts and I do not get along. Now this is the gentleman that passed me. I am now passing him for first. I'm back in the lead. And the goal is to stay up here so I don't have to keep wiping this camera. I lost my goggles. I got a new pair of goggles. Pulled the string about 3 times on a roll off, and they quit working. So they came off probably before I even got in the woods, I believe. So the goal now is to stay up front. this is the first time you watch one of our videos, we are Trail Seeker Adventure. The plan for our YouTube channel is to go out and record our adventures and bring it back to you so you can see if that's something that you would be interested in and trying yourself. We bring the information, whether it's a ride park, whether it's a race event or a trail ride. We go out, we record the action and try to bring you all the information, whether it's the location, whether they allow camping, if there's motels closed, restaurants, and everything it has to offer. That way you know whether that's in a race event or a ride park that you would be interested in, and you can find out before you even load your bike. Make sure if you like this type of content, make sure you like our videos, subscribe to our channel, and that way our next time we go out and check out a race event or a ride park, you'll be first to know. Now, yesterday I brought the 450 out. It was still muddy, but for the most part it wasn't too bad at all. And the goal was to run the RMZ 450 today, but with the conditions turning out the way they did, I got the 2020 Beta 300R. Got it prepped and ready to go, and I think it was a good decision. Mostly because lifting these bikes up out of these ruts is bad enough, but when you got a big old heavy 450 and you can't use all the power anyways, I went as light as I could. So that's why my decision was to break out the 2020 Beta Elkins Motorsports Spatial. Not only lifting the Beta out of mud holes, you know, is going to be lighter, but also just controlling it, the weight of the Beta helps a lot. But this thing lugs like nobody's business. I love the way this two-stroke lugs around, and trust me, I lugged it the entire day. While we're wrapping up lap 1, I am first. I think my son Damien, he was taking photos. He's photo hawk. I think he showed me like 12th or 13th overall at this point as far as on the track. We're getting ready to take off for lap 2.
They tight?
Yeah, left, go, go.
Thank you.
That's the hole I got stuck in the first lap. They were there to help me get on the right rut. I don't think they wanted to have to pull out my bike. I'm sure they were already there, and I was the only one that they had to pick out, but they was having a great time. My GoPro is sounding kind of weird. The mic must got some water in the little holes. Sometimes I notice it's sounding okay, and then sometimes it's muffled. Here's a little cut. The SXCS crew was right on the money this weekend. They had challenging conditions to deal with. This track was awesome last year, really fast and flowy. But whenever Mother Nature decides to dump the rain on you, you have to do what you can in order to get the event out and try to get the riders the best course they possibly can. Whenever a hole would get too bad, they was able to reroute it and keep the race rolling. I want to give a big thanks to the SXCS crew for an awesome weekend. But that's what this video is all about. Like I was saying earlier, Trail Seeker Adventures goes out, and this isn't just a race event. This is a family event, and what that means is the SXCS tries to make activities that's fun for the entire family. That way, you know, your wife and kids can come along, and let's say your wife has been wanting to try to ride, or your boyfriend, or however it goes, wants to try to ride. They give them the opportunity to come out, and you can ride with your wife or your best friend or your son and daughter. And you know, sometimes it's tough to find a place just to ride. It's getting tougher and tougher to be able to get out and ride with your friends and family. But the SXCS crew, they think of that, and that's one of the things I enjoy most about it. Heidi was not able to come this weekend because of her work. She has raced every one of these races so far this year, and she was leading in the points and was so very bummed that she wasn't able to come ride. But she enjoys just riding out, hanging out with actually her competition, riding on Saturday. And then I also miss riding with her. We don't get out and ride nearly as much as we like to, but just being able to come on Saturday before race day and be able to hang out with your friends and family and do the activities, see people that you race against, be able to talk and have fun with them. I sure appreciate the opportunity to get out here, and we bring this to you so you know whether this is a race event that you would like to take part of. And you can find that out sitting on a couch. If you're sitting here watching this and you're like, man, that really looks fun, well, it sure was. Make sure you check out the SXCS schedule and check out their next event. I think their last one is coming up in Virginia at the Virginia Motorsports Park. It's the drag strip down in Virginia by Richmond. Make sure you load up that bike, bring your family and friends, and come out and check it out. I don't know what that line was there. It was definitely not the fast line, but it is the only spot I've seen with leaves. There's a few trees here that we had to get over. This is one of the most challenging areas throughout the day, but it held up and they didn't have to change course on this one. But this is where my bike started getting hot, and then right after this is the hill climb. And by the time I got to the top of the hill climb, my bike was like, okay, it's hot. Here's one of the locations that got bad, and that's where you gotta look ahead. That young lady had her bike buried, and you're allowed to get off the track, but you have to get back on the track as soon as you get past the bottleneck or whatever the problem is. But that's most hare scrambles. You got an arrow. You're allowed to stay with. You gotta stay within 20 feet of that arrow, unless there's a bottleneck, and then you're able to get off the trail, get around the problem, and then get right back on the trail. And then the next time you come and the trail is open, you gotta stay on the trail or the track. We're coming up to the hill climb. I'm trying to find my way down through here. want to listen to the people that guide you, but you got to be careful because some people like seeing you get stuck. So you got to be very cautious. If they got a vest on, especially if they're staff, you can listen to them because they've been pulling bikes out all day and they're trying to get you through without having to pick up the bike like this guy is. But if it's some teenager down there with a bunch of friends and they're pointing you to a hole, you might want to check that hole out before you trust them and go down to that hole, because they might just want you for entertainment. So I'm catching Amanda. She is on the She Shall Ride machine out here enjoying the mud. This section of the trail or the track, they did not run the morning class on it, so it wasn't too bad at all. But I want to talk to you about some of our events that we went and checked out. She's doing a split there. We've been to Crew Motorcycle Park in Florida. We've been to Hatfield McCoy Trails in West Virginia, southern West Virginia. And we've been to GNCC races, if you ever wonder what that's all about. And we are now at the SXCS. 110. This is lap 2, going on lap 3. This is a Hare Scramble. The Hare Scramble is a time event. Typically it is 2 hours, but the SXCS also brings you sprint cross and GP. That way you can try different types of racing. That way you can find a type of racing that you may enjoy. I like the Hare Scramble because I like the option to be able to see your riders. Like, I'm riding as hard as I need to in order to stay up front. I could ride faster, I could ride harder, but my main goal of the day was to get to the finish line. Now, you can't do that with a sprint cross. The sprint cross is where one person will go every 20 seconds, and then once you're like somebody in your class will go, you'll wait in line 20 seconds, and then you will go. And you are timed, and whoever at the end of the day has the quickest time wins the event. But you cannot see the person you're riding against until the end of the day, and then you look at the results, and then that way you know whether or not you won. Those are fun. It's not my type of thing. And then the GP is more like a motocross format, where you go out and you do 2 motos, 2 30-minute motos. The courses are usually less technical and usually a lot faster and flowier. They're shorter courses, but you will go out, you run 30 minutes, but you are riding with your competition, and then you come in, make adjustments or whatever, and go back out for your second moto. But the awesome thing about that, though, you can run more than one class here at the SXCS. And that's the same way with the sprint cross. You can ride different classes. Like sometimes I'll run 40A and 50A. But then also here at the Hare Scramble, the morning race, they have a open class to where you can start on the front line and run open, and then run the afternoon race also, and then they'll give you, whoever does the most laps in the quickest amount of time, they will be able to win the Ironman. And that's another option that the SXCS gives for you to get out and get as much ride time as possible on the weekend. That right there was a typical cross rut. That's where my front wheel went left, where it was wanting to go up the hill where they had to cut it out from the morning race, and my back wheel didn't want to go that way. So the main thing to do that you can do to prevent that is look ahead, pick a rut. Now we're back up here in the tree section, and there's a few times I made it through here, but it's pretty ugly. The last event for the SXCS is going to be a GP in Virginia Motorsport Park. I have videos, or we have videos of just about every type of racing that SXCS does. Just go back and check it out. And we also have our local series, the Mountain State Hare Scramble. That is one of the events that we checked out. Hey, Dub! Yeah, I like that trail better. How deep? So we now on the fourth lap, and if you look to your left, you can see somebody buried the bike, and that's why I'm going extra wide to make sure I don't get stuck in a hole as well. You can hear my bike sounding a little weird. It just idles a little high. But as I was coming around the same section, this is where I got stuck on the very first lap. The turn after that, it was getting pretty bad. And this guy is in the hole that you don't want to be. Kind of got it all plugged up. I come up through here, and whenever you get in a rut, you want to try to hit it as fast as you can. Momentum will most of the time carry you through it, but whenever your swing arm or your foot peg starts dragging, that's the time to stop. So this young man says, "Hey, I'll help you if you help me." So we grabbed a hold of the old Beta, yanked it out of there, and then we went back and got him moving.
Hi.
What do you want to do?
Just try to lift it up right here.
Alright, well here, grab the...
Whoops. I might be able to get it right there. Hold on.
Well, it's just think about it now. Hold on. Here. Hold on.
There you go, bud.
Alright, hold on. I'll help you all.
You're good.
Put my bike up and help you all.
Well, you can tell I'm getting desperate over here looking for something without a rut or a tree. And it's getting so bad where I'm having to beat brush and move grapevines. But I'd much rather do that. If you heard after I pulled my bike out the last time, I was breathing pretty hard. And this old man's getting to the point to where I don't like breathing hard. Plus I'm out of shape. In case you didn't know, I broke my collarbone about a couple months ago, and I really haven't been out riding as much as I should be. But I'm just going to let this play out the rest of the video. You can watch, and make sure you subscribe to our channel. At the end of the video, you'll see an opportunity where you can click on the logo, subscribe to our channel, or pick the next video. So now you can really hear the old two-stroke, how she sounds when she gets hot, in case you ever experience that. One other issue I was having, my seat was getting so muddy. I don't have a grippy seat on this bike yet, but going up like that last hill, it's tough to keep your butt up on the seat and not on the fender. Almost had it. Good. Thank you, bud. Well, we're about to wrap up the old SXCS round 5 in Virginia. It was definitely a mudder. I like mudders. I wasn't really prepared for a mudder. I should have ran the RMZ 450 other than it's being too heavy. But I had a great time. I ended up first in the 40A class, and I believe I was 9th overall for the day. That's not too bad. I haven't been out a lot riding and trying to stay in shape. This 2020 season has definitely been weird. A lot of things got messed up this year, but hopefully next year we get out to try out more ride parts and bring the information to you, and that way you know what's out there to go out and experience before you even have to get off the couch and load your bike. Heidi and I, we already have plans that we're wanting to get out and try different areas, whether it's on a dual sport or a mountain bike, or I even have video back here from Snowshoe. You can hear this bike now. It's sounding pretty tough. I'm on my last lap. The GoPro goes dead here, but I want to thank you for watching our videos. I have several guys come up throughout each event, and just lets me know that they enjoy watching our material. That helps me keep going out here and doing this. I don't mind the videoing. I'm not a computer guy. I hate sitting in front of a computer, and it takes good 3 or 4 evenings in order to put one of these videos together. But I don't mind doing it as long as I know somebody's out there getting some helpful information. But make sure you like and subscribe to our channel. Right here you can push the logo in the middle in order to subscribe or watch our next video.